Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we have a very fun video. May has been a month full of amazing fashion moments, so I thought it would be really cool to just shoot my reaction to some of the best looks and maybe a bit of a critique of my not so favorites. I am trying to be a more positive person, less judgmental, so I will not spend too much time being mean and catty. But you know, we want to spice things up, so there will be that in the video as well. I want to apologize for my voice. It is a little bit jazz club after 2 a.m. I don't know why, I have been getting a lot of throat infections in the last couple of years. I don't know if it's because I talk too much, I don't know if it's the C word, but I apologize if I'm a little raspy, a little, you know, baritonal. Hopefully I won't have a coughing fit during the filming of this video, but let's get to it. Starting with the Met Gala. The Met Gala is supposed to be the fashion event of the year. It's where all of the creators, all of the designers, models, celebrities go and they dress according to a theme. And the theme is aligned with the exhibition that the Met will hold during that time period. And this year the theme was Karl Lagerfeld. Very much deserved. We all know Karl, he was iconic, absolutely a monumental figure for the fashion world as we know it today. He obviously designed for Chanel, but he did Fendi, Chloe, Patou, he did illustration, he was a great photographer, so a true Renaissance man that deserves celebration in my opinion. And as you would imagine, the red carpet was filled with a lot of Chanel-esque elements like camellias, black and white, tweed, pearls, but also many elements that were inherent to Karl's style. So his fingerless gloves, the little ponytail, sunglasses, white shirts, even his cat shoe pad served as inspiration. So it sort of resulted, in my opinion, in a lot of awkward looks. Many didn't have that creative and absolutely out of the box aspect of Karl's existence in the fashion world, in my opinion, but there were a few that deserve a mention. So my first favorite look is this Karlie Kloss one. This is a Jonathan Anderson number. When you look at it, and especially when you see the whole red carpet with those outrageous, exaggerated looks, you think it's a little bit boring, but when you look at the detail and especially what was the inspiration behind the dress, you actually understand why it is interesting, on theme, and well done. This was inspired by Karl's first Chanel collection back in 1983. Chanel has been famous for a lot of things, but among them their costume jewelry. Their costume jewelry has been absolutely iconic and has been imitated and recreated time and time again. So what Karl did in the original dress was use beading and use embroidery to mimic the effect of these layered necklaces. And then for this dress, the designer wore this sort of illusion trompe l'oeil technique again, but in a more modern, contemporary way, which is through print. So you can see that the placement of the print mimics exactly where jewelry would fall, but it's just a little more of a unexpected technological touch that I think makes it interesting, makes it unexpected, makes it not obvious, which I think is very important when you're talking about the Met Gala. Karlie is also pregnant and she went for this form-fitting kind of mermaid style that enhances her baby bump, which I think is so cute and such a fashion statement as well. And then to sort of finish off the dress and add details, the designer layered some pearls exactly over the print just to highlight it and added a bow to her ponytail, so it kind of has those Chanel elements. It is pretty, it is girly, it is elegant, it is on theme, but it's not trying too hard. Second look, and this is probably my favorite of the night, comes from Michelle Yeoh. I think Michelle is one of the most elegant women in Hollywood today. She just has this ability to combine and counterbalance design, creativity, unexpected elements with grace, with poise, and that is exactly what she does here. The dress is actually a couture creation by Karl Lagerfeld, the brand, and it was made in collaboration with many people that worked with Karl. So the team had a lot of his input and knew him deeply. So it's almost like there are some fingerprints by Karl on this dress. It's a nod to the tuxedo shirt, which is an item that Karl went back to time and time again for inspiration, revisited it, redesigned it in many different ways, and they sort of modified it to sort of make it into a bateau off the shoulder neckline, which is beautiful on her, great pairing with that diamond necklace that she's wearing. The statement billowy sleeves in this really light, transparent fabric give it a diaphanous look that is beautiful and especially contrasting with the black and white from the look and the heeled boots that also are a big nod to Karl, this sort of chained boot. I think it is so smart, beautiful. The silhouette is different. It's new, but it's still enhancing and it's still complementary to her, which I think is very important in a dress. I think she looks absolutely stunning. Third look is Naomi Campbell. Now, being a Karl Lagerfeld exhibit, we saw a lot of black and white. So seeing someone in color was kind of a breath of fresh air. She looks stunning in this Chanel. This is from the 2010 couture collection. And it's just nice to see someone not trying so hard. I understand that this is when people want to show their creativity. They really want to put themselves out there. They really want to take that risk. Sometimes it pays off, but sometimes it just seems like the dress is wearing you, which is not very fashionable in my opinion. I think you have to be smart with fashion and it has to look natural, it has to look like it was made for you and not the other way around. So you kind of have to admire Naomi for being confident enough to throw on something that makes her look good and showcase her beauty. Just not being a fashion victim, but it is still a beautiful dress that shows a lot of the artwork, a lot of the technique behind a Chanel haute couture gown. You have the draping, you have the embroidery. I love the combination of this pink with the silver. I think it's different. It is beautiful, especially against her gorgeous chocolate skin. So absolutely a win in my book. Then we move on to beautiful dresses that got completely ruined by bad hairstyling. Is this a Karl thing? Wearing gorgeous, perfectly constructed gowns with raggedy, out of place hair? Is this a thing? Because I saw a lot of this. Nicole Kidman wore her iconic Chanel No. 5 ad dress. This was in my dreams. I had cutouts of this campaign all over my bedroom. And then when I saw her getting in the Met with the dress, but with her hair looking like this, why? The black sandals also just didn't help at all. It just looks kind of pulled together the last minute. Just compare how she looked at the ad with the half up, half down, and with this hair. To me, the difference is undeniable. I think she wanted to kind of make it more current, more bohemian, more Nicole, but it just looks discombobulated and kind of chaotic to me. Gisele Bundchen in this 2007 number from Chanel as well. She wore this to a Harper's Bazaar editorial. I remember that editorial too. I had this magazine. And editorial is the key word here because when you have the wind on your face, you have the big dramatic makeup, you have the angle of the picture, things look good. But when you're walking a runway with that shaggy hair that kind of gets confused with the feathers of the cape, it doesn't have the same effect. I think it dresses it down. I think it takes away from the beauty of this beautiful piece that becomes this mishmash of stringy confusion. Imagine how absolutely gorgeous she would look with like a low ponytail, with a low bun, just even a wig, for crying out loud. I mean, it's okay to style your hair. You're not a worse person for doing so. Dua Lipa She was one of the hostesses of the event. They usually select a group of people to host, and they are very much the people who should be dressed better, in my opinion. And she went for the closing bridal look of the 1995 Chanel show, which is very iconic, originally worn by Claudia Schiffer. This neckline, this diamond, they deserved better. They deserved not to have hair all over them. Other not so favorites, Amanda Seyfried. What is going on here? The Kardashian clan, always naked, no surprises here. And this person. When did we establish that to be well dressed you had to not be dressing anything at all? Did I miss that memo? King Charles III coronation. For the true event of the season. Now, I know many people don't like the royal family, they don't like the monarchy. I talked about this before. I don't hold any specific views. I can see the good side, I can see the bad side of both arguments. I will not be discussing it. It is not my place. I don't have the intellectual prowess to do so. I like the pomp and circumstance, I like the glamour, I like the tradition. The politics, I can do without. Starting with our girl, the one that never lets us down in terms of elegance and poise and sophistication, Catherine, the Princess of Wales. How regal does she look? Oh my god, I can't wait for her to be queen. She's not even my queen and I'm excited for her. And as I was watching the coverage when they got there and I saw little Princess Charlotte wearing a dress that was really similar to her, like the embroidery and the floral crown. Not only is it beautiful, like coordinated mommy-daughter look, which always gets to our hearts, but I also think it kind of gives nod to a few values of the monarchy, like continuity and tradition and heritage, that I think is very important. So not only was it a nice family moment, but it was also appropriate and communicated something. Under her formal robe, she was wearing this gorgeous sort of silk duchesse white gown by Alexander McQueen's Sarah Burton, the same person responsible for her wedding dress. Another fine example of absolute timeless sophistication. The garment was also embroidered with flowers from the many kingdoms of the United Kingdom, so even there it was telling a story, it was being meaningful, it was being respectful to her territory, so actual substance to what she was wearing. As to the attendees, my absolute favorite was Queen Letizia from Spain in this stunning, this is absolutely gorgeous Carolina Herrera skirt suit. The shade of peony pink I think is appropriate for daytime, but it's different from that sea of pastels that we saw that day, which is, I think, a sort of safe choice, but she stood out without looking out of place. Love the embroidering along the neckline in the same color as the jacket, maybe if it was contrasting, given that the color of her ensemble is already kind of a statement. The peplum with the longer pencil skirt, I think it's also a very beautiful, very refined silhouette. Reminds me a lot of the 1950s in a way, and finished off with this beautiful straw hat covered in netting in the exact same shade as her suit. Just a fashion statement, absolutely beautiful. A similar look in concept is Lady Helen Taylor's. She is wearing this sort of black and cream number that I think is absolutely beautiful. Kind of similar to Queen Letitia's with the embroidered jacket, but the contrast here makes it a little bit more intricate, sort of graphic, and the fact that it is a cream and black doesn't make it too much, in my opinion. She paired it with an A-line midi skirt and some sling bags, which is always a good idea, always looks elegant, doesn't look like some of the other guests, which we'll get to in a little bit. I'm also a big fan of her headpiece. It's sort of a boater hat interpretation, looks a little bit more delicate with this low chignon. Overall, I'm not sure if this fits the dress code. I'm not an expert on it, and monarchist fashion analysts can sound off in the comments, but as a look, I really like it. Baroness Floella Benjamin, first off, love the attitude. Every picture of this woman was hers smiling and being so happy to be in this day, which I think is the perfect accessory for a gloomy, rainy day like that one was. But this is also a great example of someone who has to wear a sort of uniform regalia type of attire, but through the choice of accessories makes it her own. Given that the cape covered most of her look, she went for one of her many now famous statement necklaces. So you only saw this part of her neck, but with the gold and the coral, it just made sense. Kind of a trick not to take away from the solemnity of the event, but still get your little personality touch here and there. And as I was watching the coronation, the actual coronation in the Abbey, I could not take my eyes out of Penny Mordaunt. The shade of petroleum blue, the gold leaf that kind of takes inspiration from the Privy Councillor's uniform. So again, a nod to tradition and to heritage. The headband style headpiece, the cape, the fact that she was holding the sword for so long and I was so afraid that she would kind of let it drop and she didn't. I just loved it. I think this is such a powerful look. The only thing I would have done differently are the shoes. She went for this sort of silver glittery option that I don't think goes with the color palette of the look. I think it's a little bit more nighttime, can be a little bit cheap looking. I would have gone for something in a nude maybe, but other than that, I absolutely love it. But for the looks that I didn't love, starting with Princess Charlene of Monaco. Princess Charlene used to be an Olympic swimmer. Good for her, amazing, but that means that she has these very broad shoulders that can be very hard to style and to dress. But the silhouette she went for here just emphasized it even more, and with that pencil skirt, it sort of created the illusion of a very harsh inverted triangle. I think she looks great when she wears those one shoulder numbers, but I know it wouldn't be appropriate here. But maybe if she went for something with a draping, something to soften her upper body a little bit, just so that the structure wasn't too bam, angular. Raglan sleeves would also be great for kind of cutting that horizontal line of her shoulder. So there are techniques. I know it's not easy, but I have seen her do better. Katy Perry, in my opinion, I mean, she was very excited to be there, but looked like a fish out of water. Not only because she couldn't find her seat for a moment there, but this lavender suit, I think it lacks the reverence that the moment required. I understand she's a pop star, she wants to be creative, she wants to have fun with fashion, has that sassy side of her, but it just looks costumey to me. This is a Vivienne Westwood creation, so at least she went for that British designer, but the fit is just odd. It's too tight, even though I do think that it is intentional. I think it's part of the design. They added this huge headpiece, the opera gloves, the pearl necklace. It just looks like she dressed for what her idea of a lady would be like, and it doesn't look anything like reality. The Cannes Film Festival. Now, in my opinion, this is the best red carpet of the movie industry. Give me Cannes in place of the Oscars any day and I'll take it. It's so much more glamorous, people take more risks, it lasts for a bunch of days, so you get a lot of fashion moments out of it. And I don't know, it's European. Everything that's European is a little bit more fun, isn't it? Beginning with Viola Davis. What a knockout. As I was saying, Cannes is a glamorous, a out there event that allows you to take this type of risk, and she completely nailed it. This Valentino feather fantasy is what fashion dreams are made of. Fits her like a glove. The base of the outfit is a one-shoulder gown, which is already beautiful on its own, but with the addition of this feathered cape, it just takes my breath away. You guys know how I feel about feathers. Her hair, her absolute joy, confidence walking that red carpet just made this one of my favorite looks of the season. Natalie Portman in Dior is divine. I mean, elegant, delicate. She is the perfect ambassador for that brand. This is actually a recreation of the iconic Junon dress from 1948. I'm sure you've seen pictures, but I'll insert one here to remind you. So she's not actually wearing the original piece, which we know can go very wrong very fast. And I didn't know this wasn't the original, so I went on Dior's Instagram and they posted a video actually explaining how they reconstructed the dress, the technique of the embroidery, the engineering of the construction, of the layers of the petals in the skirt. Just a true haute couture serving on the Cannes red carpet. I love this. Rosie Huntington-Whiteley, as usual, proving to us that you can look sexy while still looking chic without looking desperate. This sleek Valentino gown looks exquisite on her. I love that there are a few more girly touches to counterbalance the sultriness. So you get the bow, you get one of the sleeves covered, minimal jewelry, makeup that is soft, a half up, half down hairdo. It just kind of makes sense together. It's a simple look, but I think it looks so much better than a lot of the other models that were half naked on this red carpet. We'll get to them in a second. But on the topic of models, out of all of the top models that walked the red carpet, Coco Rocha is probably one of my favorites. She always brings drama, she brings fashion, she doesn't show her private parts to make a fashion statement, which I can appreciate. This is a Gaurav Gupta gown, which maybe I wouldn't choose for myself. You guys know I'm a little bit more classic, more traditional, but I can still appreciate it as the work of art that it is. It's sculptural, it's impactful, out of the ordinary, it looks beautiful from every angle. That is a great tell sign. When you see a dress that is supposed to be haute couture, it has to look great from every angle, and this does, and looks amazing on her. This shade of cobalt blue is perfect with her very porcelain skin. Just love it. Moving on to the bottom of the list, Julia Fox. Well, I've got to recognize the effort of this woman for just trying to be shocking in every which way possible, be it the way she dresses, be it by her actions, by the words that come out of her mouth. It's a full-time job, but unfortunately, I don't think that effort pays off. It doesn't translate into anything worthy of praise. I've said this before. I don't think something that is plain weird or plain ugly makes something fashion. I think we make this mistake time and time again. Oh, just because I don't understand it, it's probably high fashion. Just because I find it weird or hard to digest, it's high fashion. That is not a thing. That is not true. Look at Schiaparelli, for instance, currently. It is eccentric, it is unexpected, different silhouettes, absolutely out of this world materials. You look at that and you think, who's gonna wear this? But the talent, the effort, the amount of thought and the amount of blood, sweat and tears that go into the making of a dress like that makes it high fashion. This, well, this is just boring, okay? This is just plastic with a few pom-poms. And here is just a little montage of all of the models that were half naked on the Cannes red carpet. I mean, really? This is it, everyone. Hopefully it wasn't too mean. I really tried not to be. It's just that fashion is kind of, one day it takes my breath away. The next, it slaps me in the face. I never know what I'm gonna get. So talking about it in videos kind of gets me a little flustered. Let me know down in the comments if I didn't mention any celebrity or fashion person that you think was a knockout in terms of fashion looks this month. And we will see each other again next time. Bye bye.